Hello and welcome to this week's Content Tea Party. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you can hear me well because we have had sound problems as usual. If you're joining for the replay, welcome very much. Welcome to today's session. Today is a little bit different. It's a little bit more unscripted than usual, and a little bit more. I've spent most of this week actually caring for a little kitten that we found on the streets on Monday, and he was very poorly and needed taking to the vet, and it did take quite a bite out of my week so far, but it's all worth it, and you will get to meet little Gibson soon. I will make sure that you get to see him. He is adorable. And I should have actually prepared. I should have prepared a picture for you today, but I haven't had the time. But I do have some amazing social media news today, and do let me know if you can hear me well. I'll just make sure that I can see the chat. Okay, here we are. The chat is open, so do let me know. Just let me know that you're here. Pop an icon, pop a smiley, or a thumbs up in the comments, and let me know that you can hear me and that you can see me fine. Some amazing news, some really, really incredible things happened this week. Okay, so the first thing involved TikTok, and it is quite an amazing thing to get politics and also social media to get so involved. Usually it's nice when they stay separate, but this week the White House has threatened to actually ban TikTok, and of course there's the reason is because apps on your phone can be used to take data, and they reckon that this is being used as a surveillance and propaganda tool for the Chinese regime. So this is something quite serious. Microsoft has already considered buying TikTok, which is quite a surprise, but they said they have absolutely no intention of selling it. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, and the second one is really cool because it's a new feature we can use, and this is something I'm sure that a lot of you already use. So if you are on WhatsApp or Messenger, then this is going to be really interesting. So they have just added, as you know, Messenger rooms. So this was a recent thing that started with Facebook, and now we have Messenger rooms. And as you can see from the little picture, it is basically a feature that allows you to have like a Zoom-like call from Messenger and from Facebook. So what are we sort of what is the new feature? So the new feature promises to have these rooms actually available on WhatsApp, which, as you know, also belongs to Facebook and is part of this sort of Facebook ecosystem, which they're trying to integrate all their apps. So WhatsApp is going to be next. And so the news has come out, and as you probably, if you've checked your WhatsApp already, you're not going to find the feature there. But the feature is available on the web version. And in fact, I have checked mine and I have found it on the web version. So if you go to web.whatsapp.com, you should be able to find 3 buttons on the side here on WhatsApp. See the 3 buttons at the top right, and you can just create a room from there, or you can actually join a group or create a new one, which is incredible. And as you can see, there's a create a room there already, so you can just go ahead and try it today if you want to. Now, as we know, of course, WhatsApp tends to have sturdier technology than Facebook for this kind of stuff, so this for me is really quite an exciting development. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to using that. And I wonder, in terms of, using it with private groups, maybe when running courses, or running, online sort of community get-togethers. I think this is going to be really an interesting feature. Okay, so today I wanted to share with you something, a couple of things that I think you're gonna find really interesting. So I wanted to talk about the topic, which I have written a blog post about this week, because it's something that comes up a lot when I'm dealing with my clients. And sometimes, although I teach content marketing and I am, of course, more about traffic and lead generation, um, closing those sales and also making enough money to stay in the cycle and to give yourself enough time to create all the content you need so that you can be visible is a difficult balance to get for a lot of new coaches and a lot of new people who are in the services business. It's a little bit difficult because they realize that, especially in the beginning, they really need to do quite a lot of marketing. So I'm going to check something here because I'm seeing a pop-up from Ecom. If you just be a little bit patient with me here for a second. Okay, now it looks like everything is fine. Great. Okay, so the article and the topic we're going to talk about today is how to charge more for your coaching, because unless you're charging enough, the whole thing is not going to make any sense. You're going to have to do too many hours of work so that you can make ends meet and make enough money, and you're going to be left with too little time to do your marketing, which is going to mean that you're going to end up going through cycles where you have what we call you know you have peaks where you sell, and then you have to sort of do the work, so you end up not having the time to sell because you've sold yourself too cheaply, and then you end up coming to a drought where you don't have clients, and you go through the cycle over and over again. And this is exactly what we want to avoid, and this is why charging enough is a very, very important part of the equation. Now, charging enough is going to mean something different whether you in different parts of the world. And again, this is something that if you're a coach going online or a service provider and you've only serviced people in your area and now you're going to go online, this is something you need to keep in mind. Online, you are not just competing with your locals, you're also competing with people on the other side of the world. So, what you need to do is instead of excuse me, instead of trying to understand all the prices that are out there, you need to kind of look inward a little bit. Have a look at the clients you have a look at your best clients, and try to understand what your service is actually worth to them. Your competition does not concern you. As long as what you sell is worth it to them, it's worth the money they're willing to pay for, then you don't need to worry about any competition. Okay, so the first thing you need to look at is you need to find these people in your audience. Maybe you need to niche down a little bit further. So you need to find people who have the money to pay you, and the ones that are willing to pay you because they are a good match for what you do and your skills. I'll give you an example. For instance, I do content marketing now. For instance, let's say if you're selling this as a service, so as a services business, potentially the best client for that would be someone with a SaaS product, someone with an IT company, somebody who really needs to do a lot of explaining and is also in a B2B scenario where every lead is actually worth a lot of money. The more the leads are worth, the more the content is worth. So obviously that would be a good place to niche for someone who actually does content, so writes content for their clients. Um, if you're selling coaching, you could pick a client. For instance, a lot of my clients are either wellness coaches who don't want or cannot outsource because their expertise is their own. So they really need to learn how to do it themselves. Okay, they can get help and support from a VA, which means a lot of them can afford that. And which means that they also need to have systems so that they can hand over to somebody else later. So, my ideal client is already selling online, but they want to find a way of spending maybe less time on social media and position themselves better as an expert, as well as, of course, maybe they've been blogging and they want more traffic, or, they want to find ways of getting more mileage out of the lots of content that they have already created. So these people are not people who are just starting a business and are struggling. They're people who already have a certain level in their business. Now, of course, not all your clients are going to fit exactly your ideal client, but as a general idea, you should try targeting people that are cash flow positive. So, for instance, if you target startups, you may want to pick an industry that usually has startups with a good cash injection, at least in the beginning. Like for instance, online tools. People who start off IT companies online usually tend to get good rounds of investment. So that could be a good place to look. So the next thing is going to be, I've already touched on this briefly, is to position yourself as an expert in your field. This is the most important thing. If you are not perceived as an expert, people are going to be willing to pay less. So people need to really see in your content, in everything that you do, that you know your stuff. And of course, I'm sure that you definitely know your stuff because you are already doing your job and you've probably been doing it for a while. You're already coaching, you're already selling your services. You already have proof that what you do is something that you're good at. So what you need to do is think of ways of showing this through your content. It's easy to do on video, and it's easy to do with social media posts as well. Especially also, a very good way of doing it is your blogs, because when you do it with a blog, when you explain a topic with a blog, what's going to happen is that if you choose your keywords carefully, you'll actually start ranking first for that particular topic. For instance, I rank for a couple of keywords like content coach and content marketing strategist. So, of course, when people Google those terms and I find that I'm in the first few results, they're going to think, hey, she must be one of the experts in this field. So they're going to see you as up there. There are a few other keywords where I come up first. So obviously, people are going to think, it becomes a no-brainer when those leads come through the website, because you don't need to convince them that you are really good at what you do, because the fact that they found you at the top of Google already tells them that for sure you're going to be a good pick. Of course, testimonials on your site really help as well. And like I mentioned also in today's blog post, is that speaking, so if you can have speaking gigs or maybe do workshops and show your expertise that way, it really helps as well. Of course, if you're going through COVID lockdown or in your country you still have pretty tight restrictions, then this is not going to be an option at the moment. But you can speak by being booked on podcasts. You can speak by being a guest teacher on someone else's program. You can also ask maybe somebody you collaborate with whether you can send an email with your free training videos to their email list. So there's a lot you can do in order to reach audiences, even digitally. Organize a webinar, do some free lives in your Facebook group. So, just you can find that thing that really suits you and your business. And then, of course, online visibility. Online visibility is an absolute must. It's something you have to keep going with. And the reason why you need to couple social media with search engine optimization is because if you're going to use social media alone, you're actually putting your business income at risk. And the main reason is, excuse me, the main reason is social media is very time consuming, and as time goes by, everything is getting more expensive. You do not control the platform. It's great and it's really good for social media right now, but we don't know how Facebook is going to be tomorrow. We don't know what Instagram is going to be like tomorrow. What we keep seeing is a drop in reach and advertising prices peaking. So this is not a very nice trend. It's something that is still bearable right now. We can still make it work with our businesses. We can still make the numbers work. But it's also important that a percentage of your traffic comes from search engines, because you don't want to completely rely on one source of leads in your business. So as you can see, let's say in these times when we had lockdown, for instance, meeting people face to face as a lead generation tool went out of the window. So that could potentially be replaced by meeting people online in groups and webinars and online conferences and stuff like that. But then, of course, you also need to think how else am I going to get these leads? And you also need Facebook ads if you're at the stage where you can afford them. If you don't use Facebook ads, you can spend time doing this organically. So getting to know people in groups, making sure you share your expertise in groups. The fourth thing would be that you also need to look then at getting people to see your expertise by sharing your blogs on your website and by making sure that those posts are being found in search engines by people who are looking for people just like you who resolve their problem. So this is going to be a very, very important part of it. Of course, then you also have freebies and email that bring everything together. But the most important thing is, how are you bringing people into this funnel? So how are you bringing people? And that is through online visibility. It's something you can never stop doing. Of course, you can be visible in different ways when you're launching and when you're not launching. It might be a little different, but still, you need to keep in mind that this is something that you cannot do without. And of course, share as many testimonials as possible, because this is part of being known as an expertise. So, when clients send you testimonials, to make sure that you share them so that people can see that you're doing well. Of course, make sure that you don't show your client's name unless it's one of the approved testimonials for your website. Make sure you protect people's privacy, but it's important to get mileage and to show people that other real people, are very happy to work with you. That's a very important part of the whole situation. Okay, so then you need to also, the last point I make in my blog post is to change the way you calculate your fees. And this is something I come across a lot. When people start out, they tend to say, okay, so maybe in my day job, I used to earn, I don't know, 20 euros, $30 an hour, maybe $50 an hour, depending on where you are in the world and what kind of job you did. But then they come to a point where they come to actually coaching, they say, okay, so I'm going to charge less, or because I'm still new, or I'm going to charge the same rate because if I work 8 hours a day, I should be making the same money. That, of course, then you realize after some time that it doesn't quite work that way, because at least 50% of your time is going to be spent on discovery calls. It's going to be spent creating your social media posts and advertising. It's going to be spent generating and marketing. So you need to make sure that by working ideally less than 50% of the time, 30% of the time, I think 30 to 35% would be optimal in the beginning, so that you can leave yourself enough time to work on the business, to do social media, to network, to really, really push hard in the beginning. So you need to actually position your prices in a way that they can actually cover all this time. So suddenly you're probably looking at 3-4 times the rate that you were thinking in the beginning. Now, of course, you need to make sure that your target audience can actually pay this rate, but you can never be sure until you try. So you need to make sure you put together some packages that make this pricing feel more advantageous, and then take it from there. So, for instance, let's say, for instance, it's quite strange because, for instance, one of my most popular packages is actually the 90-minute strategy call that costs $470. And this is actually, I mean, in terms of hourly rate, it's really not any cheaper than any of my other packages. But because it's a smaller bite, people like to try that one first. So it's one of those things that, it's really easy. It's like one of these things that's kind of really a no-brainer to sell, really. And you wouldn't think so when you calculate the hourly rate, but when you see the value that people get for the price, and of course the speed, because people do want speed. They don't want to spend 6 hours on a call with you when you can just give it to them in 90 minutes. So if you can give them everything in 90 minutes and what you're giving them is worth the price, then everybody is happy. And, as we say, Bob's your uncle. Okay, so I hope you took some notes and put down some points. If you haven't, you can head over to stephaniefitani.com and check out the latest blog post on my homepage, because you will find not all of these details, but some of them there. And finally, I wanted to share with you this week's blog post, and I'm really happy to share this with you. I had the great privilege of interviewing Amy Woods, who has just published a book about content repurposing. And she is the owner of a repurposing agency. And we had such an amazing conversation. You're going to find so many useful tips to get more mileage out of the content that you already have, or out of the content that you create once a week. You can do so much with it. So head over to stephaniefitani.com/podcast. I'm going to put those links under this video so that you can find them. And make sure that you listen to what Amy has shared with us on this podcast. In the meantime, thank you very much. I invite you to join my Facebook group, which you will find in my bio. You can find a link there to my link tree, and you can join the group, or just search up. I'll tell you the exact name. Actually, it's More Leads and Google Traffic with Content and SEO. So if you want to join the group, go ahead and put More Leads and Google Traffic with Content and SEO in the Facebook search. And I really look forward to have you join us, because I'm going to be starting some free training in the group soon, and you certainly don't want to miss that. So thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great rest of Tuesday, and wherever you are in the world, you might be just starting your Tuesday. In that case, have a great day, and I will see you next week.